They couldn't keep these files hidden. They couldn't keep these pictures hidden because there's just too many people involved.
Oh, I'm familiar with it, Dan, and I'm sure you are as well. I've been familiar with it for a long time. And in fact, I've seen the tapes. I've got them somewhere. God knows where now.
You know, why are there people in Meghan's social circle, that are in the same social circle as Andrew?
You won't believe what just unfolded behind closed doors. Because for the first time since that explosive interview shook the world, Oprah Winfrey is finally breaking her silence. And what she's revealing is sending shockwaves through Hollywood and the royal circle alike. What really happened after her headline-making sit-down with Meghan Markle? Why are insiders now whispering about tension, regret, and a fallout no one saw coming? Sources close to the situation claim emotions ran high in the days following the interview, with behind-the-scenes conversations turning unexpectedly heated. Fans are shocked as rumors swirl that Oprah herself felt blindsided by details that emerged after the cameras stopped rolling. And if that wasn't enough, new claims suggest that powerful figures reached out privately, demanding answers, and possibly accountability. But here's where things take a dramatic turn. According to insiders, Oprah didn't just stay quiet. She was carefully watching, waiting, until now. And what she's about to reveal could completely change how you see that interview forever. Was it all a misunderstanding? Or is there a deeper betrayal lurking beneath the surface? The moment the cameras stopped rolling, the atmosphere inside the lavish Montecito estate shifted in a way no one could have predicted. What had just been a poised, controlled, and deeply emotional conversation between Oprah Winfrey and Meghan Markle suddenly gave way to something far more intense. Something raw, unsettled, and quietly explosive. According to insiders, the silence that followed was not relief. It was tension. Crew members exchanged uneasy glances as Meghan stepped away from her seat, her expression unreadable. Oprah, usually calm and composed, reportedly leaned back and exhaled deeply, as if processing something far heavier than she had anticipated. One source claims Oprah quietly said, "That was a lot more than I expected." And in that single moment, the tone of everything changed. Behind the scenes, whispers began almost immediately. Producers huddled together, reviewing notes, while Meghan's team moved swiftly, speaking in hushed tones. "We need to manage this carefully," one alleged insider was heard saying. "This isn't going to land the way we thought." Emotions ran high as the reality of what had just been revealed started to sink in, not just for the audience, but for everyone involved in the production. But the real drama didn't begin until hours later. As the sun set over California, Oprah reportedly received a series of urgent calls that insiders now claim left her visibly shaken. Powerful figures, some connected to royal circles and others deeply embedded in global media, were demanding clarity. Did she verify everything? One voice allegedly pressed. Does she understand the implications of what was said on that stage? The pressure was mounting, and Oprah was suddenly at the center of a storm she hadn't fully anticipated. Meanwhile, Meghan retreated into a private room with her closest advisors. What was said in that room remains tightly guarded, but sources suggest the mood shifted from confidence to concern. "This is bigger than we thought," Meghan reportedly said, pacing the room. "They're going to come after everything." Her voice, usually steady, was said to carry a hint of urgency, perhaps even fear. And then came the first unexpected twist. Late that night, a message allegedly reached Oprah from a mutual contact, someone who had access to information not previously disclosed during the interview. According to insiders, this message contained details that directly contradicted parts of Meghan's account. The room reportedly fell silent as Oprah read through it. "Why wasn't this mentioned?" she allegedly asked, her tone now sharper, more probing. That question would become the beginning of a quiet but growing divide. By the next morning, the situation had escalated. Oprah's team began reviewing the footage more critically, flagging moments that might require clarification. "We need to be absolutely sure about every claim," a senior producer reportedly insisted. "If there's even one inconsistency, it changes everything." The stakes were no longer just about ratings or headlines. They were about credibility, trust, and the potential fallout on a global scale. Fans are shocked to learn that what seemed like a seamless, heartfelt interview was, behind the scenes, unraveling into something far more complicated. The energy between Oprah and Meghan, once warm and aligned, was now described by insiders as cautious and measured. Conversations that followed were no longer as free-flowing. Instead, they were careful, deliberate, almost guarded. At one point, Oprah reportedly reached out directly to Meghan for clarification. "I need to understand this better," she allegedly said during a private call. There was a pause on the other end, long enough to raise eyebrows. Meghan eventually responded, but insiders claim her explanation only deepened the uncertainty rather than resolving it. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get more intense, another twist emerged. A member of the production team, someone who had been present during pre-interview discussions, came forward with a claim that certain topics had been strategically emphasized while others were quietly left out. This revelation sent shockwaves through the inner circle. Was the narrative being shaped more carefully than anyone realized? And if so, who was really in control? The questions kept piling up, and the answers were becoming harder to pin down. As the days passed, public anticipation grew, but behind closed doors, the situation was becoming increasingly fragile. The trust that had once defined the collaboration now seemed to be hanging by a thread. And just as Oprah began to piece together what might have really happened, she received one final call. One that insiders say changed her entire perspective on the interview, and set the stage for a confrontation no one saw coming. That final call lingered in Oprah Winfrey's mind long after the line went dead, its implications echoing louder with every passing minute. According to insiders, the voice on the other end wasn't just concerned. It was urgent, almost warning her that the situation surrounding Meghan Markle was far more layered than it appeared on camera. "You're only seeing one side of this," the caller allegedly said, a statement that reportedly made Oprah pause in a way few things ever had. For someone known for her intuition and ability to read between the lines, this moment planted a seed of doubt that would quickly grow into something much harder to ignore. As the weight of that conversation settled in, Oprah's team noticed a shift in her demeanor. She became quieter, more analytical, and intensely focused on reviewing every second of the interview with a new perspective, as if searching for something she might have missed the first time around. Meanwhile, across town, Meghan's inner circle was dealing with a different kind of pressure. The public reaction was beginning to take shape, and while many fans were initially supportive, cracks were starting to appear. Fans are shocked as conflicting narratives began circulating online, with some questioning the authenticity of certain claims while others defended Meghan passionately. Emotions ran high on social media, turning the interview into a global debate rather than a one-sided narrative. Inside Meghan's home, the atmosphere reportedly grew tense as advisors monitored the backlash in real time. "We need to stay ahead of this," one team member allegedly insisted, scrolling through headlines that were becoming increasingly divided. Meghan, described by sources as both determined and frustrated, reportedly pushed back, saying, "I told my truth. That shouldn't be up for negotiation." Yet even as she said it, insiders claim there was a flicker of uncertainty, an awareness that the situation was slipping beyond anyone's control. Back at Oprah's estate, discussions turned more serious as producers began compiling a list of moments that might require clarification or even follow-up. "If there are discrepancies, we have to address them before someone else does," one senior member of the team reportedly said. This wasn't just about protecting a broadcast anymore. It was about protecting reputations. Oprah, known for standing firmly behind her work, was now facing a dilemma that struck at the core of her credibility. According to sources, she paced the room during one late-night meeting, her voice calm but firm as she asked, "What are we not seeing here?" That question hung heavily in the air, as no one seemed to have a clear answer. Then came another unexpected development that only deepened the tension. A close associate of Meghan allegedly reached out to Oprah's team with concerns about how certain parts of the interview might be interpreted. The message, described as both cautious and calculated, suggested that the narrative needed to remain consistent to avoid further complications. But instead of reassuring Oprah, this reportedly raised even more red flags. "Consistent with what?" she allegedly asked, her tone now sharper than before. For the first time, insiders say Oprah began to question whether the full picture had ever been presented to her at all. As the days went on, communication between the two sides became increasingly strained. What had started as a collaborative effort now felt like a delicate negotiation, with every conversation carefully measured and every word scrutinized. The warmth that once defined their interaction seemed to have cooled, replaced by a cautious distance that neither side openly acknowledged but both clearly felt. At one point, Oprah reportedly requested a private, face-to-face meeting to clear the air, believing that direct communication might resolve the growing tension. Meghan agreed, but sources claim the energy leading up to that meeting was anything but reassuring. When they finally sat down together again, it was a far cry from the openness of their original interview. Insiders described the atmosphere as polite but tense, with both women choosing their words carefully. "There are things coming out now that I didn't hear before," Oprah allegedly said, maintaining eye contact but speaking with a measured firmness. Meghan reportedly responded with equal composure, saying, "There are always going to be perspectives that don't align. That doesn't make my experience any less real." It was a statement that seemed to acknowledge the growing divide without directly addressing it, and according to those present, it only made the conversation more complicated. As the meeting continued, subtle disagreements began to surface, nothing explosive, but enough to signal that the two were no longer fully aligned. Oprah pressed for clarity on specific points, while Meghan emphasized the emotional truth behind her story rather than the details being questioned. The difference in approach created a quiet but undeniable tension, one that neither side could fully resolve in that moment. And just when it seemed like the conversation might reach some kind of understanding, a new piece of information surfaced, something that neither Oprah nor Meghan had anticipated, and it instantly shifted the entire dynamic once again. That unexpected piece of information landed like a silent explosion in the middle of what was already an emotionally charged situation between Oprah Winfrey and Meghan Markle. According to insiders, it wasn't just a small clarification or minor correction. It was something that allegedly contradicted key emotional framing points that had shaped the public's initial understanding of the interview. The moment Oprah was briefed, sources claim she went quiet, reading through the document twice without saying a word, her expression shifting from calm focus to visible concern. "This changes how people will interpret everything," she reportedly said, setting the papers down slowly. It wasn't anger in her voice, it was disappointment mixed with disbelief, the kind that comes when trust starts to feel slightly fractured but not yet broken. Meanwhile, Meghan was reportedly informed about the development almost immediately. Inside her circle, the reaction was swift and defensive. Advisors allegedly urged her to issue a clarification before speculation spiraled further, but Meghan pushed back, insisting that her experience had not changed and should not be reframed because of outside interpretations. "They're trying to pick apart my truth," she allegedly said, visibly frustrated. Fans are shocked as this internal tension began to subtly reflect in public discourse, with online debates intensifying and opinions splitting even further. Some supporters doubled down in defense of Meghan, while critics began questioning inconsistencies more aggressively, turning what was once a unified emotional response into a polarized storm. As pressure mounted, Oprah reportedly found herself in a difficult position. Those close to her say she was not interested in fueling controversy, but she was deeply committed to ensuring accuracy and integrity in storytelling. "If something doesn't align, we have to understand why," she allegedly told her team during a closed-door meeting. The tone in the room, according to insiders, was serious and methodical rather than emotional. Every clip, every quote, every pause from the interview was re-examined with new scrutiny, as if the entire narrative was being reconstructed piece by piece. The process wasn't about discrediting anyone, it was about reconciling perception with fact, but the emotional weight of that task made everything feel heavier. At the same time, Meghan's camp reportedly felt increasingly under siege. Messages from media outlets intensified, with requests for follow-up statements and clarifications pouring in. One insider described the atmosphere as controlled chaos, where every decision carried potential consequences. Meghan, however, remained firm in her stance, telling her team, "I won't keep explaining my pain just because people are uncomfortable with it." That statement, though powerful, reportedly deepened the divide between managing optics and preserving emotional authenticity, creating friction even within her own advisory circle. Then came a moment that insiders describe as the turning point of this entire fallout phase. Oprah allegedly reached out again, not through intermediaries this time, but directly. The call, described as calm but intense, reportedly centered on one core issue: alignment. "We need to understand where the disconnect happened," she is said to have stated. Meghan's response, while respectful, did not fully bridge the gap. Instead, she reiterated that her truth had not shifted, even if external interpretations were evolving. That distinction between truth and interpretation became the emotional fault line neither side could fully cross. What followed was a silence that spoke louder than any conversation. 4 days, there were no public interactions, no joint clarifications, and no visible attempts to reconcile the growing narrative divide. Behind the scenes, however, discussions reportedly continued, though carefully and selectively. Every word was weighed, every message filtered. The collaboration that once felt seamless now resembled a delicate balancing act, where both sides were trying not to tip the entire structure into further chaos. And just when it seemed like the situation might stabilize into controlled silence, another development emerged, one that neither Oprah nor Meghan had been fully prepared for. A previously overlooked detail from the original interview resurfaced, and this time, it wasn't just being discussed privately. It was spreading rapidly, reigniting public attention and forcing both sides back into a spotlight they had hoped to manage more quietly. What this new revelation meant, and how it would reshape everything that came before it, was about to push the entire situation into an even more unpredictable direction. That resurfaced detail spread faster than anyone involved in the original interview anticipated, reigniting global attention around the conversation between Oprah Winfrey and Meghan Markle and pulling both women back into a spotlight they had been trying, in different ways, to carefully manage. According to insiders, the moment the clip and related context began circulating again, Oprah's team immediately went into crisis monitoring mode, tracking public reaction minute by minute. "It's not going away this time," one producer allegedly said, as engagement numbers surged and commentary intensified across every major platform. What made this wave different was not just the volume, but the renewed scrutiny. People were now rewatching every pause, every expression, every carefully chosen word from the original broadcast with a more critical lens than before. Behind closed doors, Oprah reportedly took a step back from the immediate noise, choosing instead to focus on the long-term implications. Sources say she held a private meeting with senior advisors where she emphasized the importance of context and integrity, reportedly stating, "We cannot let speculation define the intent of that conversation." Her stance was calm but firm, reflecting her belief in protecting the broader purpose of the interview, even as the narrative around it became increasingly complicated. However, those close to the situation also noted that she was visibly affected by how quickly the discourse had evolved beyond her control, turning what was meant to be a deeply human conversation into a global point of contention. Meanwhile, Meghan's response was reportedly more emotionally charged. As the renewed attention intensified, she allegedly felt that the conversation was being reframed in ways that no longer reflected her lived experience. "It feels like I'm being pulled back into something I already went through," she is said to have told her inner circle. Advisors attempted to guide her through a measured response strategy, but the emotional toll was becoming harder to ignore. Fans are shocked as support and criticism once again surged simultaneously, with some defending her right to tell her story while others questioned the evolving interpretations of key moments. At the same time, tensions between both camps reportedly reached a delicate standstill. Communication, while still open, became highly structured and cautious. Every message exchanged was filtered through layers of advisory input, with both sides wary of misinterpretation. According to insiders, even simple clarifications were treated like high-stakes negotiations. "Nothing is casual anymore," one source explained. "Everything has weight now." That shift marked a significant change from the original tone of collaboration that once defined their interaction. Then came what many are calling the final quiet rupture, not an explosive confrontation, but a gradual emotional and professional distancing that both sides seemed to recognize but not openly acknowledge. Oprah reportedly made the decision to step back from further commentary, choosing instead to let the public discourse settle on its own terms. Meghan, on the other hand, continued to stand by her original statements without engaging directly in the renewed wave of analysis. That mutual silence, insiders suggest, was not peace, but resolution of a different kind, one shaped by exhaustion, reflection, and acceptance that not every narrative can be controlled once it enters the public sphere. In the end, what remains is not a clear victory for any side, but a deeply complex aftermath shaped by perception, emotion, and the unpredictable nature of global attention. The interview that once felt like a singular defining moment has now become an evolving story, one that continues to be reinterpreted long after the cameras stopped rolling. And as both Oprah and Meghan move forward in their separate directions, the world is left with lingering questions. about truth, interpretation, and the fragile space between telling a story and losing control of how it is understood. And just like that, what started as a powerful, emotional interview between Oprah Winfrey and Meghan Markle has now transformed into one of the most talked about and heavily debated media moments in recent memory. From behind-the-scenes tension, shifting narratives, and silent disagreements to public reactions that divided fans across the globe, this story has taken on a life of its own. And even now, the questions haven't stopped. What really happened behind closed doors? Who is shaping the truth? And who is being misunderstood? The most shocking part is that despite all the speculation, neither Oprah nor Meghan has fully stepped back into the spotlight to directly address every claim being made online. That silence is exactly what's fueling even more theories, more debates, and more emotional reactions from fans who feel deeply invested in both sides. Some believe there's still more to be revealed, while others think the story has already been told, but interpreted in too many different ways to ever reach a single conclusion. And now the question is yours. Do you think this fallout is being misunderstood by the public, or is there something deeper still hidden beneath the surface? Was this simply a case of miscommunication under massive pressure, or a moment that exposed cracks no one expected to see? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this conversation is far from over. And if you want more deep dive breakdowns, shocking twists, and untold sides of the biggest celebrity stories, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss what we uncover next. Because in this world, the story is never really finished. It's just waiting for the next revelation.